Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is the best and worst Dragon Ball Z game. Let me explain. It's open world, which is great. Who doesn't want to fly around the cities? It's every kid's dream if you grow up watching Dragon Ball Z. As an arena fighter, it works okay. The buttons are fairly simple. It's basically mash circle to attack. So you just have to worry about reacting to your opponent's moves and then chaining your own special moves, managing your ki, and you should be fine. It's like a less complicated version of the Xenoverse games. You don't really have combos, but you can vanish out of your auto combo to then make what you want to do. What sets it apart is the boss fights. This is single player only, so the boss fights, they've gotten really creative with it. Every opponent has special moves and interactions that really put you in the shoes of whatever character you're playing at that point in the game. It's not as plain as get their health bar to 0. There will be sequence changes, interactions, special moves. When you fight Frieza, it feels massively different compared to when you fight Cell or Majin Buu, so there is some, well obviously they're unique characters, but there is some diversity to it. Everyone has a certain mechanic that you will have to adapt to win the fight, and it's normally in stages, so you'll get a rank at the end of it to say there was a 3-part fight, which kind of retells the story as you do it. Visually, this is one of the best looking Dragon Ball Z games in my opinion. Besides Dragon Ball Z Fighters, I don't think you can get better than that. Cinematically, it's amazing. The cutscenes are incredible. Colors are vibrant, the interactions are great, the voice acting is A1, so no complaints there. The fact that this is an RPG game gives it quite annoying elements. During the later stages of the game, things felt tedious and drawn out. Now, if you've been a fan of Dragon Ball Z for a while, or you've been watching it since you were young, you've probably played or watched the story multiple times through different games or parts of the anime. But it never gets any more interesting than go here, do this, bring this back, beat him up, come back, get XP. Throughout the time, I don't think I've done many side missions. Playing the main story and training to unlock new moves was fine for me. That I was never massively underleveled, and if I was, you just had to try a bit harder, and I didn't really feel at a disadvantage. It scaled because you are trying to defeat a much more powerful opponent. When the game got difficult, as long as you had sensu beans or some sort of way to heal, you were totally fine. It was okay. I didn't replay any fight, I didn't lose anything. Again, it's an RPG, you can grind materials or resources to make sure that your character has much more longevity. Other than that, the only reason I would knock this game is because of just like really silly things. There's like inconsistencies that kind of take you out of the experience. So if you're flying around, they'll be constantly repeating voice lines about what you see or where you go, blah blah blah, things like that. I didn't do side missions because I found them quite boring. In the main story, you're already doing like these fetch quests, which like go here, do this, beat him up, blah blah. I don't want a side mission where I do that just because it might have a special character or a special interaction. If I'm already playing the main story, that's all you really care about. There were a few inconsistencies in the retelling of the story. They got like 95% of it right, which you can't really knock them for. Okay, now this stops at the Kid Buu saga, so anything up to that you can't really knock them for missing out anything because a majority of it should be known by now. On the PS4 version, they did just release the PS5 version in like 2023, but the PS4 version drops frames when you use your limit break, which is a very substantial part of the game, and the fact that they released it in a version which is the most popular console at the time to not be optimized, very disappointing. I didn't play the PS5 version because my save was on the PS4. If the PS5 version had performance upgrades, great, but that still means there's no love for people that still have PS4. But again, releasing games when they're not optimized, that's a big knock on the publisher, and a thumbs down in my opinion. To conclude, if you look past all of that, again, these are like very nitpicky things for me. I did have a good time playing the game. I feel that this is one of the best adaptations to accurately tell what, like 100 episodes into like a 30-hour package, depending on how much side missions you do. And even if you do it, it's like parts of the anime you don't really remember. You only mean like the main sagas, you know, Vegeta coming, Android, Cell, Frieza, Kid Buu, like those are the main things. But besides that, I think it's a really good and comprehensive game. If you wanted more hours, there is DLC. They got like Battle of the Gods, Bardock, Future Gohan. So if you want DLC, you could have some more hours in it. So yeah.